Hello dear students, my name is Miss Pushpa Chutel and today in Python programming workshop we will be learning file handling. So today we will learn files in Python. We all know about the file. They are the named location in a storage device for recording the data. Python 2 supports file handling and allows user to handle files, that is to read and write files, along with many other file handling options to operate on files. The concept of file handling has stretched over various other languages, but the implementation is either complicated or lengthy. But unlike other concepts of Python, this concept here is also very easy and short as well. Python treats file differently as text or binary, and this is important. Each line of code includes a sequence of character and they form text line. Each line of file is terminated with a special character called the end of line, that is EOL, end of line characters like comma or new line characters. It ends the current line and tells the interpreter a new one has begun. In this video, you will learn about various Python file operations, more specifically opening a file, reading from it, writing into it, closing it with the help of examples, and various file methods that you should be aware of. There are 3 simple steps that we need to deal with files. The first step is we have to open the files. Second step is we can perform the different operations like reading from file, writing into file, appending the file, renaming the file, deleting the contents of the file, and the third one is closing the file. So let's cover each of this topic in detail. Firstly, and the first operation that we will see in the file handling is opening the file. The open function, first one is the open function. Before you can read or write a file, you have to open it using the Python's built-in open function, and it is OPEN. It starts with opening parenthesis and a closing parenthesis. This indicates that open is a function. This function opens a file if it exists, else it creates a file object which would be utilized to call other support methods associated with it. The thing that we need to note is that to open a file, you must change your working directory to where your file is available. And to change the working directory, you can do the following things, like you can import the operating system, and by os.chdr, that is change directory, you can change the directory. The syntax to open the file is very simple, and it is we have to write the function open, and in that opening and closing braces you have to specify the things like you have to specify the file name, you have to specify the access method, and if it allows you can also specify the buffering method. And when you open a file, you have to collect this into the object that is defined by this object. So here are the parameter details. The file name, this is the argument which is a string value that contains the name of the file that you want to access. The access mode determines the mode in which the file has to be opened, that is read, write, append, etc. The complete list of possible value is given in the table, and this is optional parameter, and the default file access mode is the read mode. So this shows the different values, the file name, the modes. So there are different modes in which you can open and close the file. The first mode is the read mode. It is basically the default mode. This is used to open a file for reading purpose, and it provides the error if the file does not exist. So make sure before opening the file, you make sure that the file is already in the directory, and if it is not, then better not to open it in the read mode. So either you first create the file and then you read it. The second mode is the W mode, and it is called as the write mode. It usually opens a file for reading. It usually opens a file for writing, and it also creates the file if it does not exist. The third mode is the A mode, which is called as the append mode. It opens the file for appending purpose. It adds the data at the end of the file, and it also creates the file if it does not exist. The last mode is the X mode, and it is used to create this specific file. If the file does not exist, then it returns the error. Now, before moving towards the actual file handling its examples, there are certain file object attributes that we should learn, we should study. That means once a file is opened and you have the file object, you can get various information related to that file. The various information are listed here below. So the different attributes and descriptions are: the first one is the file closed. This file closed usually returns the true value if your file is closed, and it returns the false value if it is not closed. So by using the file closed function, by using the file closed attribute, you can check whether your file is closed or not. The second attribute is the file dot mode attribute. This returns the access mode in which the file was opened. If the file was opened in read mode, it will return the value as R. If it is opened in the write mode, it will return the value as W. If it is opened in the append mode, it will return A. And if it is opened in the creating mode, then it will return X. Let's see this with the help of an example. So suppose I'm having one file 1.txt. It is having certain contents. So I'm opening this file 1.txt in read mode, and whenever I will open the file, it will return the object, and I'm collecting this object in my variable f. So what I'm going to do is I will be printing the different file object attributes, like the file name, whether it is closed or not, and in which mode it is opened. So I will print the name of the file by using f.name attribute. Next I will print whether my file is closed or not by using f.closed, and I will print the opening mode of the file by using f.mode attribute. Okay, so let's see how it prints the output. The first output, the name of the file. Since the name of the file is 1.txt, it will print the output as name of the file is 1.txt. Next, it will check closed or not. Since the file is not closed, so your f.close will return the false value because you have not closed the file. Next is we want to print the opening mode, so we will print opening mode, and since the file is open in the read mode, so it will return R. Okay, so it should be Next thing is, once you have opened the file, the important thing is you should also close the file properly. It is a good practice that you should close the file by performing any of the operation. So the close method for the file object flushes any unwritten information from the file and closes the file object, after which no more writing can be done. Usually Python automatically closes a file when the reference object of the file is reassigned to another file. That means if you are reassigning the object, that is object F, to some other file, then it will automatically close the file. And basically it is a good practice to use the close method to close the file. The syntax to close the file is, we have to use the name of the object, and after that we have to write close with the starting and the closing parenthesis. Let's see the close method with an example. Suppose I'm having the same file 1.txt and I'm opening it in the writing mode, and now I want to print the name of the file by using f.name. So it will print the name of the file is 1.txt, and now I'm closing the file by using f.closed. And now I want to check whether my file has been closed properly or not. So now I will use f.close attribute. This returns the true value if my file is closed. Since we have already closed the file, so this f.close will return a true value. So don't get confused between these two things. This f.close, it is a function, and this f.close, it is a attribute. Next thing is reading and writing from the file. So the first thing that we will be learning is writing into the files. The writing into file that we should learn first, because if the file does not exist, then the write function creates the file, then we can write the contents into file. If the content is not available, then we will not be able to read the files. So the first operation that we have to study is writing into the files. The file object provides a set of access methods to make our life easier. We will see how to use the write methods. Usually the write method writes any string to an open file. It is important to note that the Python strings can have binary data and not just txt. The write method does not add a new line character to the end of the string. So this is very important that we need to make sure. Next thing is the syntax. The syntax that we have to follow is, we have to first write the file object, then we have to write function, and in the parenthesis we can provide the string that we want to write into the file. The above function will create the file, and suppose we are creating one file name as 1.txt, and suppose we have written some content in that file, and then after that we will close the file. So if we will open this file in the read mode, it will show this content that Python is great language. Then in next line it is printing, yeah, it is great. So let's see with this 1.txt file. This is my 1.txt file. Let's see how we can perform the different operations by using this 1.txt file. So here's an example. In this example, we are opening the 1.txt file in the writing mode, and when we will open the file, it will return the object that we are collecting in the f variable. Now since we have opened the file in writing mode, so we will use f.write function to write into the file. Since 1.txt is suppose not existing and we want to write it, then we will write Python is a great language, and yeah, it is great. So all this thing will be written into your file. Yeah, one more thing that we have to notice, since we have given the /n character after your language, there will be one enter, and after yeah, there will be one enter. So it will automatically print the yeah, it's great in the next line. And you can see Python is a great language, and next it will be written in the next line, and after that it will close the file. Here the passed parameter is the content to be written into the opened file. The write function will write all the contents into 1.txt. Suppose 1.txt is not existing, then it will first create the 1.txt, and then it will write this particular string into my file 1.txt. The next thing is the read method. The read method reads a string from the open file. That means for performing the read operation, the file should be an existing one. It is important to note that the Python strings can have the binary data apart from the text data. So this is the syntax. You have to follow the object name. After that you will write dot read, and in the parenthesis you have to write the name of the file. So this will help us to read the data from any existing file. Here the passed parameter is the number of bytes to be read from the open file. This method starts reading from the beginning of the file, and if the count is missing, then it tries to read as much as possible, maybe until the end of the file. Let's see how to perform the read method with this example. Suppose we are having the same file as 1.txt that we have previously created, and now we want to read it. So we will open the file 1.txt in the read mode, and so its object will be here in the variable f. And suppose we want to read the file line by line. So this can be done in Python by using dot read line function. Okay, so the object name is f, so I will write f dot read line, and I will print the value of first line by using the print statement. So by using the print command, you can read the first line, Python is a great language. And suppose I want to read the another line, then you have to add another dot read line function. It will read the next line, yeah, it is great. So once we have read all the contents in the file, and here the content of the file is of 2 line, so we are done with the to read line function. And now suppose we want to close the file, then you can use f dot close function. Now the next thing is, suppose you don't want to use the read line function, you want to read the complete line directly by using the for loop. So that is also possible in Python. You will open the file 1.txt in read mode, and then you will use for x in f. F means your object. For x in f, you will print the value of x, so it will read all the values character by character, and it will print your 1.txt, which is Python is a great language, yeah, it is great. and after that we will close the file as usual. There's another one option in the Python. Here we can read the specific number of characters from the file. So suppose I am opening my file 1.txt in the read mode, and now suppose I want to read the first 10 characters, so that I can read by using f.read, and in the parenthesis I can specify the number of characters. So suppose in the fread I have specified the 10 number of characters, and this 10 number of characters I will be storing in one string, and then I will print the read string is str. So it will print the first 10 character as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So it will read Python is from the 1.txt file. From that complete file, the first 10 characters will be taken in the str string, and then it will be printed. After that we will close the file using f.close function. The next thing that we have to study is how to append a file. The appending is very much easy, and it is one of the important mode. Till now we have studied the reading mode and the writing mode. This append function is used by using append append and then starting and closing bracket. It usually adds the content to an existing file, and it is usually at the end of the file. The syntax for appending the data into the file is, we have to use the file object, and after that we have to use the dot append method, and in parentheses we have to specify the file name. Let's see this with the help of an example. We are taking the same 1.txt file so that we can see how it is accessed in different modes. So we are opening the file in the append mode, and now I want to add this content, adding the content to the file by performing f.write. So it is very much basic that for appending any data you have to perform the write operation. So we will perform f.write, and within whatever it is written within this double quotes will be written as it is to the end of the file. So you can see the previous content was Python is a great language. Yeah, it is great. And after that this content is added, this content is appended at the end, adding content to the file. And now we will close the file because we are done with the appending operation. This writing will not perform any type of reading operation. For performing the reading operation, we will again have to open the file in read mode, and then we will read the data using f.read, and we will print it. Only after using your f.read you will be able to read this content. If you will not add the reading by using by opening the file in reading mode, you will not be able to see this output. The next thing is creating the new file. This is the last mode in which you can use the files. So suppose you are in the dilemma that you want to create a new file by using the file handling. So suppose you want to create a file myfile.txt which does not exist, then it is created by the OS by using this X mode. Let's see how it is done. We will first open the file. We are opening the file myfile.txt in X mode. This myfile.txt does not exist. We are creating it using the X mode. So by using the X mode, your new file myfile.txt will be created. and its object will be passed in this f variable. And now we will start writing the contents into this file by using the f.write. So we are writing the content, finally able to create new file, and next we will close the file. Remember, with this statements we have only created a new file and we have written the contents using the f.write. This will not print any output. For printing the output, you have to open the myfile.txt in read mode, and after that you have to perform the read operations. Until and unless you will perform the read operation, you will not be able to see this output, which is finally able to create the new file. Once you will read the content, you will close the file. So till here we have seen all the 4 modes: reading, writing, appending, and creating a new file. The next thing that we will see is renaming the file. Python operating system module provides the methods that help you to perform the file processing operations, such as renaming and deleting the files. To use this module, you need to import it first, and then you can call any related functions. So firstly, we will see the rename method. The rename method takes the 2 arguments, the current file name and the new file name that you want to rename to. Okay, so for using this, you can use the syntax os.rename. Firstly, you will write the current file name, and after that you will write the new file name in the parenthesis. Here's one example how we can rename the existing file 1.txt to 2.txt. Okay, so before renaming the file, you have to import your OS module. Okay, so you can import it by using import space OS, and next you will use the function os.rename, and in the parenthesis, in the double quotes, you will give the first file name, which is the old one, and the next file name, that will be the new one. So it will rename 1.txt to 2.txt. So this is how we can rename the files. The next thing is the deleting the files. You can use the remove function, this remove function, remove method, to delete the file by supplying the name of the files to be deleted as the argument. So whatever the file that you want to delete, you will specify it in the double quotes. Okay, so again, for this purpose, you have to first import the operating system, and after that you can use os.remove function, and in the braces you have to provide the file name that you wish to delete. Let's see this with the help of an example. Suppose you want to delete the file 2.txt. So for that, you have to first import the OS module by using import.aos, and then you will write os.remove, and in double quotes, in parenthesis, you will write the file name. Here we have written the file name as 2.txt. So when you will execute this program, it will definitely remove the file 2.txt from your directory, and if again you will try to remove it, it will show the error that your file has been deleted, it does not exist. So this is all about the today's lecture that we have learned today. Today we have learned all about the file handling, its different operations, how to do it, and how to do the 2 file processing operations, such as renaming and deleting the files. Thank you.